Here's every major theory about how the Emperor might be resurrected, from the most hopeful to the most grim outcomes. Our first theory concerns the Star Child, one of the oldest concepts in Warhammer 40,000 lore. When the Emperor was mortally wounded by Horus, his soul did not remain entirely bound to his shattered body. Instead, most of his essence dispersed into the warp, scattering across the immaterium. However, one crucial fragment remained intact. This kernel of consciousness became known as the Star Child, a nascent entity waiting in the warp, growing stronger, preparing to be born into reality. Some versions suggest the Star Child will be reborn into a new mortal shell, allowing the Emperor to reincarnate as he may have done in ancient times. Other interpretations propose something more dramatic. The Star Child could manifest as a purely warp-based entity, a new god unfettered by physical form, standing as a counterpoint to the four ruinous powers. Elements of this theory continue to appear in recent publications, suggesting it remains a viable path for the Emperor's return. The second theory is perhaps the darkest. The possibility that the Emperor could become a chaos god is known as the Dark King, a theoretical fifth chaos god representing pure destruction without purpose. During the Siege of Terra, as the Emperor rushed to face Horus, he realized victory was unlikely unless he empowered himself on an unprecedented scale. In desperation, he drank from the warp in a way he never had before, taking the form of a lightning-wreathed sphere of obsidian. His power became so overwhelming that he unintentionally killed all the custodians around him. The Emperor had briefly become the Dark King. At this critical moment, Olanius' person confronted the Emperor and reminded him of his humanity. These words convinced him to release the Dark King's power. To do this, he also released another aspect of himself, the part that would become the god of humanity's virtues. However, the prophecy of the Dark King remains unfulfilled. The Chaos Gods maintain this entity will still emerge because time flows differently in the warp. If the Emperor's humanity completely erodes, he might still transform into this fifth Chaos God, a deity of destruction that would make even the ruinous powers seem preferable. The third theory involves the Sensei and the Illuminati. The Sensei are individuals who carry the Emperor's blood through countless generations. These perpetuals possess extraordinary abilities, including immunity to aging. A secret organization called the Illuminati has learned forbidden truths from the Eldar's Black Library. They understand that without the Emperor, humanity will fall to chaos and birth a fifth Chaos God. To prevent this, the Illuminati work in absolute secrecy. They have been gathering the Sensei, protecting them from the Inquisition, preparing them for what they call the final war with chaos. But this is a lie. Their true intention is to sacrifice all the Sensei to the Emperor in a single moment. The theory suggests that the combined essence of all the Sensei, merged with the Star Child in the warp, would provide the catalyst for the Emperor's resurrection. The ritual would mirror the original creation of the Emperor, when thousands of shamans sacrificed themselves to merge into a single godlike being. Our fourth theory asks a simple question: what if the Golden Throne is not actually failing? For 10,000 years, tech priests have warned the device is breaking down. But what if they simply don't understand what they are seeing? The Emperor, possessing regenerative abilities as a perpetual, may have been slowly healing. As his body recovers, certain systems become unnecessary and shut down. Life support systems designed for a corpse deactivate because they are no longer needed. The tech priests, with incomplete understanding of Dark Age technology, interpret these changes as malfunctions when they are actually signs of success. Of course, the opposite could be true. Perhaps the systems are shutting down because there is almost nothing left to sustain. Without detailed knowledge of how the Golden Throne functions, it is impossible to know which interpretation is correct. Is it shutting down because its job is done, or because there is no job left to do? The fifth theory is championed by the Thorian faction within the Inquisition. These radicals believe that the Emperor's essence in the warp can be transferred into a physical vessel, creating a divine avatar. This emerged from the example of Sebastian Thor, who displayed such extraordinary charisma and apparent divine favor that many believed he channeled the Emperor's will. The Thorians search for potential candidates who could withstand the Emperor's overwhelming presence. They believe the right person and correct rituals could resurrect the Emperor into a new body while his old form remains on the Golden Throne, continuing to power the Astronomicon. This would give humanity a living Emperor who could lead his people, while the systems depending on his psychic might continue to function. The sixth theory centers on Cypher, the fallen angel who has been slowly making his way toward Terra for millennia. Cypher carries a sword he has never been seen to draw in battle. Many believe this is the Lion Sword, the personal blade of Primarch Lion L. Johnson, crafted by the Emperor's own armorers. There are two interpretations. The first suggests Cypher seeks redemption, intending to present the sword to the Emperor to beg forgiveness or use it as a catalyst for resurrection. The second is darker. Cypher might intend to kill the Emperor. As a perpetual, the Emperor should resurrect after death, but the Golden Throne keeps him locked in limbo. By slaying the Emperor, Cypher might force a true death that would allow his perpetual nature to trigger resurrection. Or perhaps Cypher genuinely seeks to end the Emperor's reign forever. The ambiguity is intentional, and Cypher's true motives remain one of the greatest mysteries in the setting. The seventh theory grapples with the Emperor's nature as a perpetual. If simply allowed to die, he should eventually return, restored to full health and power. But there are problems with this solution. The Emperor sustained injuries fighting Horus and all. 4 Chaos gods simultaneously may have crippled his ability to regenerate. We know perpetuals can be permanently killed by sufficiently powerful psychic attacks. Even worse, the Emperor himself seems to have created weapons that can permanently kill perpetuals. Fulgurite, a lightning stone formed when his psychic power strikes, can slay perpetuals forever. Finally, even if he could resurrect, allowing him to die would be catastrophic. The Webway Gate would burst open, flooding Terra with demons. The Astronomicon would go dark. Trillions would die in the time it would take him to resurrect, if he could resurrect at all. The eighth theory suggests the Emperor is growing stronger and may already be awakening. During the Plague Wars, he channeled power through the priest Mathieu to resurrect Guilliman and damage Nurgle's garden directly. Before dying, Mathieu believed the Great Rift was empowering the Emperor. 10,000 years of worship by countless trillions has turned him into something approaching godhood. Every prayer strengthens his presence in the warp. The theory suggests he is on the verge of awakening or has already begun. Across the Imperium, new types of miracles have been reported. Golden eagles manifesting, processions of golden spirits holding back chaos. Intercepted transmissions speaking of the king on his throne, stirring and speaking. If correct, the Emperor might not need dramatic resurrection. He might simply wake up, his consciousness restored, his power greater than ever. Or perhaps something will emerge that was once the Emperor but has been transformed by 10 millennia into something both more and less than human. The ninth theory envisions a resurrection that would tear the Imperium apart. The Emperor dies and is reborn as a mortal, his physical form restored. But this Emperor remembers his original vision. He preached the imperial truth, that there are no gods. He despised religion, knowing faith feeds the chaos gods. Now he returns to find the Imperium has become a theocracy. Trillions worship him. The ecclesiarchy preaches he is divine. Everything he sought to prevent has come to pass. This reborn emperor would seek to restore the imperial truth and dismantle the ecclesiarchy. But the psychic shockwave of his death, combined with millions of sacrificed psychers, would create a warp god formed from 10,000 years of worship. So you would have two emperors. One is a physical being who rejects divinity and seeks to restore reason. The other is a warp entity who embodies humanity's need for a divine protector. The Imperium would fracture into civil war. Those following the reborn emperor would be branded heretics by those worshipping the god in the warp. Space Marine chapters would split, all while the true enemies of mankind press in from every side. Our final theory suggests the Emperor could undergo a split ascension, becoming two entities simultaneously. His mortal form would die, but his soul would divide. One part would ascend fully into the warp, becoming a true god of order capable of standing against the four chaos gods. This god could manifest power anywhere faith burns bright. Meanwhile, another part of his soul would be released to reincarnate. This fragment would be born into a new body, a mortal child who would gradually awaken to memories of being the Emperor. This incarnation would be more human and adaptable. Over time, this reincarnated Emperor could rebuild his strength and work toward reuniting humanity without the restrictions of the Golden Throne. This theory suggests both aspects are necessary. The god provides immediate protection and psychic power. The reincarnated mortal provides leadership and adaptability. Together, they would represent a complete emperor split across different planes of existence. The challenges would be immense. The Astronomicon would need a new power source. The Webway Gate would need to be sealed by other means. And there is no guarantee these two aspects would remain aligned in purpose. What makes these theories compelling is that none can be definitively ruled out. The nature of Warhammer 40,000 is that truth is always obscured.